One morning, the sky was brighter and more colorful than ever. Jake, who lived in a small town, looked out his window and saw a golden feather floating in the air. The feather, shining with the wind, was flying far away. Jake felt that this feather would lead him to a great adventure, and he followed it without a second thought. As he walked, he stepped onto a normal forest path, and everything suddenly changed. The leaves on the trees were now a bright blue instead of a dark green, and the flowers sparkled as if they were covered in millions of stardust. As he went deeper into the forest, the air smelled like a sweet nectar, and a soft, melodic sound from far away filled Jake's heart with peace. The feather brought Jake to the edge of a huge lake. The lake's water was so clear that you could clearly see the colorful stones, the swaying moss, and the tiny glowing fish at the bottom. In the very middle of the lake was a tiny, glowing island. The trees on the island had tiny sparkles on their branches, and the island itself shone as brightly as the brightest stars in the sky. The golden feather landed on a shining tree on the island and slowly joined with it. To get the feather, Jake found a small raft made of leaves, tied with a silky string, on the edge of the lake. He bravely got on the raft and began to paddle towards the island. But when the raft reached the middle of the lake, a huge shadow appeared under the water. Jake worriedly backed away, and the water suddenly foamed. The shadow turned into a friendly water dragon with shining scales. The dragon's eyes were deep and full of wisdom, like the depths of the lake. The dragon, admiring Jake's courage to go on the lake, offered him one of the magic keys hanging around its neck. This was the water key, made of moss with a pattern of waves on it. When he held the key, he felt the coolness of the water. Jake heard a whisper. "This key opens the heart of the water." Jake smiled at the dragon for its kind gesture, and the dragon gently waved its tail, lighting up the way to the island. Jake reached the island and left the golden feather at the roots of the magic tree. At that moment, the island lifted into the sky like a cloud and disappeared. Jake's heart was full of the victory of his first adventure. As Jake was going back, a giant and amazing rainbow bridge appeared in the sky. The bridge shone with the brightest colors and went over a chasm, making Jake's path shorter. Under the bridge, flying fish with colorful tails were happily passing by, leaving a magical glow in the air. When Jake took his first step, the bridge began to shake, and its colors slowly started to fade. It was as if Jake's hesitation was using up the bridge's magic. Jake understood that stopping was not the answer, and he began to run. Each step increased his courage and made the bridge's colors return. Jake ran with all his might and crossed the bridge. The bridge returned to its old, vibrant colors and became even brighter. The rainbow, as a thank you for Jake's bravery, turned into thousands of small balls of light and danced in the air. The balls of light came together and turned into a clear, glass-like light key that landed in Jake's palm. The key had tiny, blinking lights inside, and Jake knew that this key also had a secret. He felt that this key would open the highest secrets of the sky. On his third adventure, Jake found himself at the bottom of a huge mountain full of white, shiny crystals. Roaring sounds from the mountain's peak made it feel as if the mountain itself was breathing. Jake went inside the mountain and found a giant labyrinth made of crystals. The labyrinth walls moved as he walked, and the paths were constantly changing, surprising Jake. As Jake went deeper into the labyrinth, he found a glowing ruby-red crystal heart hidden among the sparkles. This heart shone like lava and gave off a warm energy. When Jake picked up the heart, he paused for a moment. The heart's echo sounded in the labyrinth walls. When he put the heart in the exact spot it was supposed to be, the whole mountain shone with light, and the roaring sound stopped. The mountain trembled as if thanking Jake, and with this event, Jake found a stone key, which looked like a rock with patterns of stone on it. He felt that this key would open the mystery of the stone. Jake's heart knew that these 3 keys together would reveal a bigger secret. Jake took the 3rd key and continued on his way. Now, his 4th and final adventure was waiting for him. Jake found himself in an endless forest. The leaves on the trees in this forest were a bright golden color instead of dark green. The wind blowing through the trees sounded like a magical melody. This melody led Jake to the center of the forest, to the old tree. The old tree was so big that its branches reached the clouds, and its roots spread all over the forest. On the tree's trunk were old and mysterious symbols. Jake studied the symbols and saw that they were similar to the symbols on his 3 keys. Jake placed each key into the openings that matched the symbols on the tree. He placed the water key at the roots of the old tree, the light key on its branches, and the stone key on its trunk. When the 3 keys came together, a glowing beam of light came down from the top of the tree. This light placed the 4th and final key in Jake's hand. A wind key made of leaves, with the sound of the wind echoing inside it. He knew that this key would open the secret of the wind. Jake took all 4 keys with him and felt that his adventures were not over. In fact, they were just beginning. Each key represented an adventure and a secret. As Jake went home, his heart was filled with the warmth of the 3 wonderful adventures and the excitement of the new discoveries. He now knew that for those who are brave, the world hides a new secret every day.